bad stuff besides TwitchCon bullshit. So people that are using Twitter and Grok, or people that are using X and using Grok, there are people on X/Twitter that are taking the photos they find of both children and women, literal children, teenagers are children, and they're having Grok do a thing where Grok takes the photo of said teenager/child and or woman, and there are men that are literally having Grok take AI to undress said person's picture and do an AI generated image of said undressed person or child. It is disturbing. There's been a very big uproar about it, about how people need to stop using AI to do malicious stuff like that. And there's a bunch of fucking men, I don't even know if I can call them men, maybe incels. I'd say maybe incels. A bunch of incels that are basically saying, well, if they didn't want the photos to have that done to them, they shouldn't have put photos of themselves online. And I'm over here like, are you serious right now? Just because someone has a photo of themselves online doesn't mean that they're consenting to you doing stupid shit to their photos. Just because someone posts a photo doesn't mean it's consent. I could post a photo of me in a bikini. God forbid I ever do that. And people would probably use the excuse, well, you wore a bikini, so you gave consent. And it's like, no, just because someone is dressed a certain way doesn't mean that they give consent. Even if I were drunk or high and was dressed provocatively, it does not mean I'm giving consent. Unless I have actively and enthusiastically said, yes, I consent, or I am like, oh, we can do that? That's consent. However, if I am not actively consenting to something, this applies to everyone, male and female, non-binary, and everything in between. If a person does not actively consent, then it is not consent. If a person does not enthusiastically consent, then it is not consent. If someone sends you a very schmexy photo of themselves for you to look at, it does not mean you have consent to do whatever the hell you want with that photo. It just means that they gave you a photo and were like, hey, what's your opinion on this? And you can ask them permission for what is allowed for you to do with the photo. It doesn't mean you go take the photo, put it into your AI program, and go, hey, AI, put this person in a smexual pose. Because not only are people taking the photos and putting them into AI and having Grok literally undress women and children, literal children, teenagers. Not only are they having them do that, but there are literal men on the internet that are having people take those photos and having Grok put those photos of those people into scandalous or provocative sexual positions. And it's disgusting. What was it? I've seen quite a few of the reports on it where people literally had the cosplayer or person have the AI image generated be said person in a very thin bikini covered in oil. What the hell? Like, even if I were stark ass naked in a room full of people, it does not mean I consent to anything sexual. If a man who was very attractive and was very well groomed, and I mean well groomed as in he's actually brushed his hair, brushed his teeth kind of thing, not the other type of GROOMAD. If a person was very well kept and very well dressed and very attractive and a very handsome person, just because they are stark ass naked in front of you does not mean that they consent to sexual relations. Like, there are literal people who have dogs that train their dogs, and they have trained their dogs not to eat until they have been given a command to eat, and that they will place a literal steak or slab of meat in front of said dog, and dog will not touch it. The dog will not touch it until he's been given the command that he can eat it. But if you put a stark ass naked person in front of a room full of very I'm trying to figure out how to censor this, very enthusiastic persons who are very eager, like, it doesn't mean that there's consent. It does not mean those people can do whatever the fuck they want to that person. Like, there are people that train dogs that act better than most. I will remain calm. I will remain calm. I will remain calm and work on pixel art. Just people frustrate me. They really do. Yeah, I've seen the videos. I've also seen the multiple news reports that are basically happened week before New Year's. Week before New Year's, there was an increase of people using Grok to literally undress people. Like, it was the week before New Year's. And it wasn't just women that were having their photos declothed. It was literal, like, 13 to 16-year-old girls that were also having their photos declothed. Or said person put in sexual position. I don't care if the age of consent in your state is 16 or 17, or in some states your state may say the age of consent is 14. That is a literal child. Anywhere from ages fucking 0 to 18 is a child. I don't care if you think because you have the word teen in your fucking age, you think you're a grown ass adult. No, you're not an adult. Go back to school, go to bed, and stop trying to have adult relations or adult conversations in an adult world where it is not your place. You are not an adult. Do not try to insert or self-insert yourself into adult situations when you are not an adult. It is dangerous, it can get you hurt, and you are not fully cognitively developed in your prefrontal cortex. Sorry, I am a bit protective because I do not want youth to get hurt by people out there who do not have the best intentions. I do not want literal children to go through the same fucking shit that I had to go through and that I have been through against my will. I will not just I will not stand by and watch people put themselves in danger. Internet safety is a thing for a reason. Asking adults what their age is, there's a reason for that. Asking you what your age is, there's a reason for that. In my over 30 years of life, I'm old, Yusuke. I have learned a lot. And I have learned a lot of things that the world does to people who don't know better. Rant over. Stay safe and don't be stupid. Solar system needs the halo rings, so I need to find that. Yeah. Also, it's probably a good thing that you're not like flying anywhere. They're doing a bunch of fucking racial profiling at the airports, worse than normal. Anyone who's melanated is being pulled aside and being inspected and pat down. And anyone who's wearing super loose clothing also gets pat down, or clothing that they deem inappropriate. Oh, you want to wear baggy sweats and a hoodie? Well, guess what? You get pulled to the side and asked where you're going and what your intentions are and when you're coming back and all this other stuff, and you're asked to show your passport and real ID. I have my real ID, but in some cases, your real ID doesn't even work as proof of verification of identification, and that's stupid. There we go. I think I got the pebbles. Cool. Let's see if the pebble pattern works with the apothecary shells. I think it might be safer to do a bus or to drive. That is safer than going on the planes right now. For domestic flights, it is a lot safer for people to either take a bus, take a train, or drive. Gas may be a little bit pricey, but it's better than having to have a TSA pat down just because you're a different color than a piece of paper. Would not advise flying, at least for the next 4 years. Or unless a miracle happens. Maybe a miracle. That'd be nice. Trying to keep my mental health together as best as I can. Pebble pattern. All you kids reading who think that you will be fine and you don't need this advice, you fucking need this advice. Kids like you fall for these things on a goddamn daily. Yep. I will use an example from whenever I was having to babysit for my cousins at a Comic-Con years ago, and I was having to babysit my younger cousins. My younger cousins being they were 15 and they thought they were adults. They thought they could do anything they wanted because they were taller than me, and I apparently am not intimidating. You got a 5-foot Kirby looking motherfucker trying to intimidate you, okay? That is me. A 5-foot tall Kirby looking motherfucker, okay? And I'm trying to be as intimidating as an adult can be. And trying to be a parental figure in this situation. And my 15-year-old cousins decided upon, borrowing my cosplays that I worked a month on and on top of everything. Ooh, that looks nice. On top of borrowing my cosplays and basically breaking my cosplays, like these kids that I was having to take care of, my cousins, my 15-year-old cousins, One was